Where why can't you get the grab and show us the action?
They say kutembea kwingi kuona mengi. Uopie kime.
Alikuwa amechukua steering wheel na kiti ya mbele, yani kiti ya driver.
Ilikuwa ni kaa ya nani? Gari nani?
Ilikuwa gari ya wewe mama Muende.
Mlikuwa hapo nikiwapelekea?
Hapana.
Alafu na mbona unaongea vitu uchui?
Lakini oni wewe iko pale
ne. Turaena otoka hapo bwana usindetea.
Kwa nini iko?
Sasa huyu ukimwongelesha lugha yako anaelewa.
For your information mimi sina gari.
Very good. Kwa nini unaleta chiherere hapa? Why?
Chiherere? Footage inaonyesha vizuri wewe tu vile aliingia ndani ya gari. Akangangara. Akatoa. Akafunga. Alafu anamwambia mimi ni cherere.
Mimi ulisikia mimi ndio nimeiba hiyo kiti na nimeiba hiyo steering.
Kulingana na ule mama ambaye mlikuwa mnavunja sheria na yeye unamwekea gari.
Kumbe wewe ulikuwa na sitaki story.
Nini?
Jibu swali yangu.
Mtazamaji, tumekuandalia taarifa zinazogonga vichwa vya vyombo vya habari kutoka hapa jijini Nairobi na pia mashinani.
Wanahabari zaidi ya ubora wao wako ange kukuletea habari pindi zinapochipuka kutoka pembe zote za Kenya.
Kwenye kipindi cha Tamrini tunakuletea mazungumzo ya moja kwa moja kufafanua na kuangazia masuala yanayokuhusu wewe mtazamaji.
Kumbuka, taarifa yenye thamani daima hupokewa kwa amani.
Hivyo basi usikose kuungana nasi kila siku ya wiki.
Tukupakulie na tukutaarifu taarifa yenye mnato kwenye runinga unayoienzi. Kwenye kurunzi mashinani,
sisi DC.
Good afternoon. You are in time for the Lunchtime News. A very warm welcome to the broadcast. My name is Irene. Muchuma on sign language interpretation. We have Brian Muraru. Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza has moved to court to challenge her impeachment, and we have able team on the ground. We'll be bringing you the developments as they unfold. For now, let's interact on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. All right, so our top focus this afternoon, Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza stands impeached after senators last night upheld the impeachment by the Meru County Assembly. The three charges brought before the Senate, mainly gross violation of the Constitution, abuse of office and gross misconduct, were all substantiated in the trial that went past midnight. Prior to the vote, Mwangaza, who was present throughout the Senate session, pleaded not guilty and contested all charges brought against her by the Meru County Assembly.
Senators, the results of the division on the third count, charge number 3, which is abuse of office, is as follows. Ayes at 27, nays 1, abstention 14. So the ayes have it. Now, honorable senators, the result of the divisions indicate that the Senate has upheld the following impeachment charges. Charge number 1, gross violation of the Constitution and any other law. Charge number 2, gross misconduct. Charge number 3, abuse of office. Now, honorable senators, pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act, and Standing Order 86 of the Senate standing orders, the Senate has resolved to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the governor of Meru County, and the governor accordingly ceases to hold office. I thank you. Honorable senators, kindly be upstanding. Order. Order. Order, honorable senators. Order. Honorable senators, before
my colleague Gladys Mungai is on that bit. This as Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza moves to court to challenge her impeachment. To health matters, the Ministry of Health has called on counties to reactivate the isolation centers established during the COVID-19 pandemic in response to the evolving threat of Mpox. This move comes as part of a broader strategy to prepare for a possible increase in Mpox cases. Public Health and Professional Standards Principal Secretary Meru Muthoni, while providing an update on the current Mpox situation, emphasized on a coordinated effort between the national and local government to manage the outbreak. Key components of this strategy include the activation of the National Public Health Emergency Operations Center and 25 additional regional centers.
We have also enhanced our surveillance in the 47 counties and all points of entry. We are sensitizing the stakeholders around every entry point also to equally know the signs and symptoms, what they need to check for, what they need to do, the procedures and manuals that need to be followed at every entry point.
Members of Parliament now want the National Executive to develop a policy amalgamating all bursaries into one fund to ease funding of university education. The lawmakers held an informal sitting with the Higher Education Principal Secretary Beatrice Muganda to understand the challenges facing the new university funding model. This as a section of students express dissatisfaction with the classification of bands which they say might crumble their dreams of accessing higher education.
Peter Karani Juma, a prospective student raised by a single parent, fears his dreams of finishing his journalism career at the University of Nairobi might crumble due to financial constraints.
Sikuwa na expect naweza kuwa band 3 because mimi mwenyewe nimetoka tangu tuzaliwe nimekuwa raised by a single parent, and that single parent hajiwezi kabisa, ana any job, so hata pesa imenileta hapa shule nilifanya harambee.
Karani decries he was placed in a higher funding band, which requires a substantive family contribution and which the mother, who is the sole breadwinner in the family, cannot afford.
Kwa hiyo band 3 nimekuwa nilipe, that is 56,000 kwa mwaka, alafu first term nalipa 28,300, of which nimelipa 10,000 peke yake.
Karani's story resonates with many other students who have expressed their dissatisfaction with the new classification.
I applied for help, mi nikifikiria maybe they'll consider me, but kuangalia band nimejipata niko band 5 and my family cannot raise that money. So hata saa ndio niingie shule imebidi tukope pesa, tuombaombe watu pesa.
Kulingana na uwezo wa wazazi wangu, ku raise fee imekuwa challenges, so I was pleading the government kama inaweza kupunguza fee.
Demystifying the claims of filling the help application forms inappropriately, the students say they indicated the correct details.
A number of students went to make the applications for the bands or for the information through these cyber cafes. And what was happening is the cyber cafe people were copy-pasting information. So some information may have gone the wrong way and we have a chance to correct that.
Nilikuwa na jirani yangu ambaye ni mwalimu wa shule ya upili, alafu tukakuwa na mwalimu ambaye pia na cyber, akanisaidia kujaza, tulijaza kwa makini na vizuri zaidi.
According to the model, students in Band 1 comprise those whose households earn a salary not exceeding 5,995 shillings, whereas those in Band 2 are from households earning between 5,995 shillings to 23,670 shillings. Band 3 comprises of students whose households earn a monthly income ranging from 23,670 shillings to 70,000 shillings, with Bands 4 and 5 constituting those from financially stable households earning an income ranging from 70,000 shillings to 119,000 shillings. In a sitting in Parliament on Tuesday, members of Parliament called on the National Executive to develop a policy amalgamating all bursaries into one fund to ease funding of the university education.
I want to know if there's a system whereby the very poor who live with their grandmothers and grandfathers can enter the university and the issue of payment is done when they have entered.
This comes as stakeholders in the education sector call for a review of the classification of students to enable learners from underprivileged backgrounds to join institutions of higher learning.
There is an appeal portal to which the student is supposed to go in there and state with evidence that I have been put in the wrong band.
But are these students aware that one can appeal?
Nimejaribu kuappeal but sijui hata unaanza aje, na jaribu kuulizia kila mtu unaulizia na niambia I don't know how to go about it.
The new university funding model continues to evoke mixed reactions from Kenyans as a section of parents and students who've decried inappropriate classification of bands, calling for an immediate review of the model to allow them access higher education. John Kahiro, KBC Channel 1, Nairobi.
All right, thank you, Kahiro. And news just in, the courts have suspended the removal of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza. She will now stay in office until the 19th of this month when the case, the 19th of next month when the case will be heard. And this comes after the Senate impeached the governor on 3 charges which were brought before the Senate, mainly gross violation of the Constitution, abuse of office, and gross misconduct, which were all substantiated in the trial that went past midnight. Prior to the vote, Mwangaza, who was present throughout the Senate session, pleaded not guilty and contested all charges brought against her by the Meru County Assembly.
Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza was last night impeached by the Senate as the legislators voted to uphold the impeachment of embattled governor, who was overwhelmingly voted out by the County Assembly of Meru on the August 8th.
The result of the divisions indicate that the Senate has upheld the following impeachment charges. Charge number 1, gross violation of the Constitution and any other law. Charge number 2, gross misconduct. Charge number 3, abuse of office.
The governor was impeached on the first charge as 26 senators against 14 voted for her ouster. The other 2 charges were voted to have been substantiated in a similar manner in the proceedings that were largely characterized by drama towards the end.
Sergeant at Arms, can you listen to me?
They have people who have chosen to behave in a disorderly manner. Mr. Speaker, I cannot give my comments. I beg to reply.
Senator Boni, take your seat.
I beg you.
Out of order. I know you're begging me.
I beg you with respect.
I know you're begging me.
Mr. Speaker, this is the Parliament of Kenya.
Senator Boni.
It is the Parliament of Kenya, I tell you.
Don't push me into throwing you out.
Don't throw me out.
Take your seat. Senator Boni, take your seat.
The charges having been substantiated, the Speaker, Amason Kingi, gave his ruling on the resolution by the House.
Pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act, and Standing Order 86 of the Senate Standing Orders, the Senate has resolved to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County, and the Governor accordingly ceases to hold office.
Prior to the vote, Governor Mwangaza, through her counsel, pleaded not guilty and urged the Senate to quash the impeachment.
If an impeachment process is undertaken on a foundation of lack of proper public participation, then that particular impeachment process cannot stand the test of scrutiny.
The MCAs could, however, document grounds upon which they alluded the buck stopped with the governor, and hence the need to uphold the impeachment.
The same governor who accuses this assembly, the county assembly, of lying, is caught forging that internal memo. A ruling was made this morning that she should deliver the original memo. She has failed to do so.
Well, how should the balance swing? In whose favor is the balance swinging? I suggest and propose and submit that the balance swings in favor of the people of Meru County. They deserve justice before this house. They are crying out for justice. They are looking upon you to dispense with justice. And there cannot be justice by sending Governor Kawira back to Meru. The only justice that can be served, I suggest, is telling her you have failed in your duties, you've neglected in your duties, you have violated the Constitution, you do not know what the Constitution dictates.
The House, having impeached Mwangaza, MCAs took celebrations all the way out of the Senate precincts, opting to camp at the gate. The embattled governor now has the option of salvaging her political career through the courts, as provided for in the Constitution. For Lunchtime News, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Right, thank you, Mungai. This as the courts have suspended the removal of Governor Kawira Mwangaza. She will stay in office until the 19th of next month when the case will be heard. Keep it KBC Channel 1. In other developments this afternoon, Prime Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Musalem Davadi, spearheaded the official opening of the 2024 International Confederation of Principals ICP World Convention in Mombasa. The forum was conducted to emphasize the urgent need for education professionals to deliberate on critical issues affecting education, namely climate change, conflicts, and rapid technological advancements.
Mudavadi highlighted the impacts of conflict in the continent, especially in Africa's Sahel region, where over 100 million children have dropped out of school due to the ongoing conflicts.
We have seen that in Africa, when there's conflict, a country can take even 40 to 50 years to recover. And even in our neighborhood here, in the Horn of Africa, where there has been conflict, the countries are yet to fully recover.
On climate change, he cited the recent event where the worst drought in 40 years happened, followed by massive floods that destroyed over 4,000 classrooms and critical infrastructure, such as bridges and roads, limiting access to schools.
I'm not even talking of the destruction to the bridges and access to schools, to hospitals, and what else was destroyed. But we must also now live with the reality that climate change is also becoming a serious hindrance to education.
The event saw stakeholders emphasizing the need for caution in integrating artificial intelligence in the education system, given the potential risks and benefits that come with it.
We will listen to great speakers with huge expertise on how we as leaders of schools around the world can adapt to the developments we face and the challenges of the next generation.
Just a few weeks ago, we saw how the social media and artificial intelligence can be galvanized, mobilized, and weaponized to actually cast hatred amongst each other, to actually generate violent action amongst ourselves.
Present were cabinet representatives in the Education Ministry who believed in authentic stakeholder engagement amongst players in the education sector in making decisions that best suit learners.
All stakeholders must therefore be ready to understand and to work together so that we can reach a solution that is for the best benefit or that benefits the child.
As educators,
we should have been able to get different perspectives in which we can be able to change the future, because we are custodians of the future.
Ian Muse for Lunchtime News.
Now, a local church in Shanzu area of Kisauni constituency in Mombasa County has embarked on a children mentorship program aimed at instilling good morals in a bid to discourage them from engaging in crime. According to the clergy at the Maendeleo Majaoni Gospel Revival Center, the children are mentored according to age groups where they pray and learn various subjects including computer and cooking skills. He urged parents to take advantage of the program and bring their children during holidays.
Na mkusanyiko wa watoto kuanzia miaka 3 mpaka 19, watu wanakusanya hapa kutoka makanisa mbalimbali, sana sana wakati wa holiday kama hivi, na wakija kwanza tunakuwa na wakati mzuri wa maombi. Tena tukimaliza tunawagawanya watoto katika magroup kulingana na madarasa yao. Tunawafundisha elimu mbalimbali. Kwanza tunafundisha elimu ile ya shuleni. Pia kuna masomo mengine kama vile kompyuta na pia kusona tunawafundisha, na pia na kupika. Na pia hapa tunawafundisha kulea vipaji mbalimbali. Sasa lengo la mradi huu ni kuhamasisha vijana wetu, watoto wetu wakapate kukaa katika maadili mazuri.
Na pia naendelea kuhimiza ama kuhamasisha wazazi ya kwamba watoto wanapofunga shule tusiwaachilie kiholela. Tuwalete pamoja kwa chuo kama hiki, mafundisho kama haya, ili kwamba wasiingie katika mikono mibaya.
The National Independent Church of Africa, NICA, has supported the proposal by the Presidential Task Force on the review of the legal and regulatory framework governing religious organizations in Kenya to have all religious organizations registered and supervised by a single body to ensure transparency and responsible practices by religious organizations. According to journalists in Isiolo, the clerics led by Archbishop Professor Daniel Muriuki Nguri said registration of churches will caution Kenyans against unscrupulous preachers out to swindle unsuspecting believers. The clergy all noted that churches need to be all-inclusive and exercise transparency to rid the country of religious scrupule.
So tunataka zote siwe na msajili mmoja, churches zote siwe registered under Societies Act. Na vilevile tuwe na self-regulating, tuhakikisha ya kwamba tunahusishwa katika jambo lolote ambalo litakalo jumu ama usu kanisa.
Ni muhimu sana dini siwe regulated. Na hiyo ni kusema ya kwamba kama vile ameelezea, kanisa kama ile yetu la NICA iko na katiba. Katiba imeweka kila structure ambayo inahitajika, right from the bottom to up. Governance of the church, just like the government has the structures, hata kanisa iwe iko na structures. Sio kanisa ya Muriuki na mke wake na amechorwa picha pale. Hiyo sio kanisa inaonyesha mwelekeo wa vile nchi inavyostahili. Hiyo ni biashara.
The Principal Secretary, State Department of Correctional Services, Dr. Salome Wairimu, has noted that the prisons will collaborate with county government so that petty offenders can serve their sentences outside the prison. Salome said the main aim of the collaboration is to decongest the prison while the county benefits from their services. This and many stories in the County News Roundup.
Speaking during a walking tour to Kerugoya and Moya prison facilities, Principal Secretary, State Department for Correctional Services, Dr. Salome Wairimu, said the prisoners will collaborate with the county governments to explore their talents and earn sufficient income to educate their children while in prison.
This is a continuous program, but we want to scale it up by working more closely with the county government so that the petty offenders, you know, those who've been arrested with the petty offenses of hawking, jaywalking, and such like offenses, can actually go and work for the county government as a way of redeeming themselves and serving their sentences outside the prison.
Elsewhere, counties in the coastal region have partnered with a non-governmental organization in a bid to tackle the rising cases of violent extremism and sexual and gender-based violence in the region.
In partnership with the county government, civil society, and local communities that are part of a much bigger effort to provide all communities with a safe space and opportunities to grow and prosper, so that all Kenyans have a feeling that they are being included, they have a voice, but they also have economic opportunities, educational opportunities, job opportunities, and access to critical services such as healthcare.
Meanwhile, pastoral communities in Samburu and Isiolo counties have been asked to collaborate with the leadership of their respective counties and other stakeholders to facilitate access to education for all children.
We embrace education because it's a game changer and it's an equalizer. For the communities that were privileged to go through education earlier, we can clearly see the difference in development, both at the household level and even at the community level.
And finally, Baringo residents have been warned of the anticipated long rains in the county, which are feared to carry a long risk such as landslide. The areas at risk include those near the foot of Tugen Hills, which stretches from Sigoo to Kapsareman.
From Sirwo through Tenges, through Sacho, through this region of Kabarnet, and all the way to Kabartonjo, beyond to Saimo Hills, should move away.
The Kenya National Union of Teachers in Kakamega and Kiambu County branches are threatening to join their peers in the teacher strike slated for next week if the government fails to heed their demands to implement the CBA. Led by Kiambu Deputy Chairman Kimale Lagat, the teachers faulted the Teachers Service Commission for allegedly failing to hire teachers to fill vacancies in many schools, not promoting deserving teachers, and failing to curb corruption in the sector, especially during the recruitment process. Additionally, they vowed to continue pushing for employment of more than 20,000 teachers who are currently on contract. Similar sentiments were shared by Mumias Branch NAT Secretary General Cyprian Omukamani, who maintained they will down their tools on the 26th of this month.
The President instructed the Labor Ministry, the Teacher Service Commission, the Treasury, that they sit with us and iron out these issues before Monday 26th. But so far, we have not seen anything.
Nikiwa tarehe 26, angalia payslip yako vizuri. Kama mshahara hujaongezeka, stop lesson planning. Stop scheming. Ambia headmaster wako, yeye ataenda kwa shule, sisi tutaenda kule, ataachia watoto wazazi. Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
Community scouts in Migori County are calling on the Kenya Wildlife Service to consider renewing their contracts following the abrupt termination of contracts in January 2023. The former community scouts want the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife to reinstate and renew their contracts to cushion them from abject poverty. The program, which employed 5,500 youths across the country, with Migori County benefiting with 90 community scouts, was a form of job employment for Kenyan youths and a means of boosting workforce at the Kenya Wildlife Services.
Jana kukimu mahitaji katika familia, na saizi tuko jobless, hatuna kazi ya kufanya, na mukatusimamisha bila hata kutuambia chenye kinaendelea.
This job we were given in 2021. Reaching January 2023, our contract lapses without any proper information. So I'm appealing to the government of Kenya, Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, please chip in into this problem so that 5,500 scouts can be reinstated.
Embu County government, in partnership with the non-governmental organization, would empower 29 youth groups in the country with an aim of driving climate action initiatives in the region. The Youth Climate Action Fund, launched by Governor Cecil Mbarire, is designed to equip young people with the resources to spearhead innovative solutions to the adverse effects of climate change, which include disrupted agricultural cycles, water shortages, and environmental degradation. The youth who benefited from the funds lauded the governor for the initiative, noting they will have an opportunity to be involved in climate resilience efforts.
For young people, youth groups, or youth organizations to apply and come up with unique ideas around different issues, either issues around innovation and solution, and anything environment, climate change, different mitigation measures. And that is how muko hapa siku ya leo, because you wrote good proposals and you got some money. Please, usitoke hapo na hiyo check, alafu mketi chini ya mti mugawanye hii pesa.
We are doing a lot of projects, and this fund actually will help us to champion the climate issues within Mpox County. This is a great opportunity because this is the sector that needs youths to transform life, because we have no other opportunities our time. And
Glad you're watching the Lunchtime News. 29 minutes past the top of the hour. We are taking our first commercial break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Now, Atito, I am never coming to clean your house again. You can now clean your smelling gym clothes, you are smelling bathroom, you are smelling kitchen, you are smelling everything.
Shut up! Oh, better hope. You better let me know tomorrow so that I can bring you women clothing. You join the women's club. You win.
Julia, Julia.
Hello.
You video. Now, this thing needs patience and precision. When you go in too fast, of course, you will get tired very easily. Too much speaking. Why can't you get the grab and show us the action?
They say kutembea kwingi, kuona mengi. Uwepie kime.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with our music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Glad you're watching the Lunchtime News. Welcome back. Now, youths have been encouraged to actively engage in agriculture because the current group of farmers is aged and soon will run out of steam. Kitui Agriculture County Executive Committee member Mbaya Kimwele, while issuing registration SACCO certificates to different SACCO members in the county, said agriculture will highly address the high unemployment rate in the county and Kenya at large. He said that the Kitui County government has partnered with different organizations to ensure farmers benefit from diverse entities.
Kila ward katika Kitui County ikuwe na SACCO, na tunaimiza wakulima waingie katika vikundi. Wakiingia katika vikundi, hizi vikundi ziingie katika SACCOs. Na naimiza tena zaidi wanarika, the youth wa zile vikundi zao wakuwe na vikundi za ukulima na waingie katika SACCO, kwa sababu SACCO itawawezesha kupata pesa ya kufadhili mambo yanayohusikana na ukulima.
20 million. 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 20 million.
Lawmakers have been urged to use their offices to prioritize the needs of Kenyans rather than pursuing political and personal interest. Speaking during the inauguration of a new Russian Orthodox church in Asia Ndukusi village, Lurambi constituency, church leaders Geoffrey Meru and Myron Chitwa urged lawmakers to show leadership by being responsible stewards of public resources. They also lauded the youth for steering the call for change in the running of the country. The clerics further dismissed rumors of ongoing conflicts within the church.
Muungano kati ya upinzani na serikali ili ya kwamba amani iweze kutulia, mambo yaweze kuendelea jinsi vile yalivyo kwa sasa, sababu at least tuna utulivu.
Na tunaomba kama kanisa, kama jamii, ya kwamba wabunge wetu wakaweze kusimama, watoe hoja kwa ukweli, wawe na uaminifu wanapofanya mambo ambayo ya kuendeleza nchi yetu ya Kenya.
Na hizi mizozo ambazo tumekuwa nazo kati ya kanisa letu la Orthodox, tumeomba Mwenyezi Mungu ili zikapate kutimilika, na watu ambao wanatosheka kufanya kazi ama kuomba pamoja na Russian Orthodox Church wanakaribishwa.
Embu County Education Department has partnered with Postal Corporation of Kenya to aid in the delivery of bursary checks to learning institutions countrywide. The County Executive Committee member for Education, Daniel Ngerananwa, said they aim at leveraging on postal services to ensure checks reach institutions promptly. He said in the past they have encountered logistical challenges in delivery of checks to learning institutions, especially those in far-flung areas of the country.
When we do disbursement of checks, normally we do it centrally in our county, where we invite all our principals to come and write acknowledgement of receipts for the checks we disperse to schools. But we find problems with other checks which are sent in schools out of the county, because normally it's very difficult to assemble everybody involved in this process.
We have over 623 postal outlets, and we are able to deliver those bursary checks to the farthest corner of this country. And within 7 days, we will be able to return the proof of delivery to confirm that we have delivered all the bursary checks and we have the receipts, and we'll be able to consolidate a report that will eradicate or do away with the audit queries.
All right, let's now cross over live to a press conference on AU chairmanship.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are here once again so that we can update you, and through you, the nation, on the steps so far as we rally around the candidature of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga for the AUC chair position. So I will make some remarks, and then I will invite the Right Honorable Raila Odinga to also make some comments. And you'll definitely be hearing from us from time to time as we forge ahead to be able to achieve victory in February 2025. You will recall that last time we were here, we gave some statements. At that time, we had not formally presented the Prime Minister's documentation to the AU, but now that has happened, and therefore we thought it is appropriate that we now convey a message again to the Kenyan people about that particular development. But you recall in our remarks, we said that Africa also needs a Baba. So we are here again to just re-emphasize that particular message. So let me make my formal statements. Early June this year, I updated the nation on Kenya's candidacy for the African Union Commission chairmanship. At the onset, may I commend Kenya's candidate for the chairmanship of the African Union Commission, the Right Honorable Odinga, for his energetic and strategic engagements across the continent and to ramp up support for his bid in the elections slated for February 2025. The country has formally submitted requisite documentation of Kenya's nominee for the African Union Commission chairmanship in the manner and form as required by the African Union Secretariat. As you are aware, the government dispatched a high-level delegation led by the Principal Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Korir Singoi, who is next to me, including the strategy team of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, which included Elikana Odembo, who is here, and Mehboob, Ambassador Mehboob, and Makao Mutua, who is not with us at this point in time. They officially lodged the application to the Office of the Legal Counsel of the African Union through the Dean of Eastern Region. In his application, the Right Honorable Odinga has outlined his vision for the AUC, which is hinged on various focal areas, namely African integration and infrastructure development, the economic transformation of the continent, enhancing intra-Africa trade, financial independence, agricultural transformation, climate action, peace and security, youth empowerment, and gender equity and equality. Notably, since 2017, the African Union requires that before the 2025 elections, the candidates participate in a televised debate broadcast live to African citizens. This is an Africa leadership debate known as Mujadala Africa. It allows the candidates to outline their vision and how they will lead the transformation of Africa through the implementation of the AU mandate and Africa's Agenda 2063. Additionally, the debate allows African citizens and other stakeholders to engage the candidates on issues they want addressed. Ladies and gentlemen, in this regard, our candidate is undoubtedly experienced and well prepared to participate in the live debates to engage the African people on how to propel the continent's growth and ensure Africa achieves its goals of African integration and sustainable development, thus making our continent a major player in the global arena. To this end, I wish to applaud our President, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, and his government for fully, and I repeat the word fully, endorsing and supporting the candidature of Honorable Raila Odinga. To fellow Kenyans, as a nation, we have always come together to stand behind our own, whether on the tracks the fields, or on the global stage. Just as we cheered our athletes in the recent Olympics, let us lend our full support to Honorable Raila as he carries the Kenya flag high in the race for the chairmanship of the African Union Commission. This is more than a candidacy. It is a national mission. Honorable Raila Odinga represents Kenya's voice, values, and aspirations on the continent. As he steps forward, let us stand with him, not just as a government, but as a united people. At this stage, let me just say that it is also programmed that next week, on the 27th of August 2024, His Excellency President Ruto will be formally launching the candidacy of the Kenyan candidate in the name of Raila Odinga. Thank you all, and God bless Kenya, God bless Africa. At this juncture, may I now invite the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga to make his remarks.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I am very delighted to stand before you here today to just confirm what Minister Salem Davadi has just said. We were here a few months ago. We said that we will come here. Today, we have had very discussions about my candidature. Because as we know, since a lot of water, I have to across the continent, meeting with different leaders of the continent. I just want to say that I've been very pleased and impressed with the are expressing the African Union. African Union is the vehicle that was founded by the founding fathers of our nation, and the intention is to unite Africa. You remember that Africa must unite. Unite or we perish. And over the years, there have been challenges by the continent. But I want to say as from the ashes of the Organization of African Unity. But the African Union is strengthened to be able to enable to realize the founding fathers of our continent. A united, peaceful, and prosperous Africa, where the citizens themselves feel they are, as a people, are united. Yes, you guys having a problem, issues of health care, issues of education, issues of wealth, employment, continent. It's a major.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi alongside former Prime Minister Raila Odinga addressing members of the press. This as Kenya champions for the AU chairmanship. And we have able team on the ground. John Jacob Curia will be bringing us the details in our subsequent bulletins. In the world of business, a section of players in the electric mobility space want lithium-ion batteries and electric vehicles components exempted from taxation. Electric Mobility Association of Kenya Secretary Dennis Wakaba says reintroducing the tax under the eco-levy will draw back gains made in the growth of e-mobility in the country.
So as industry, we feel that reintroduction of eco-levy will basically make the products very expensive. First of all, batteries within electric vehicles, whether bicycles, motorcycles or buses, they're quite heavy. So in terms of the amount that the government is looking to collect, e-mobility is still a growing sector, it's still a small sector. Yeah. So if you stifle it now, you might get almost nothing out of it. So it's very important to focus on what the benefit of that particular industry, which is e-mobility, that can generate in terms of job creation, in terms of energy sequestration, meaning that we utilize our own grid instead of importing oil and fossil fuels into the country and depleting our foreign exchange.
There is need for increased investments, early warning systems to mitigate the devastating effects of climate-related hazards. Intergovernmental Authority on Development IGAD Food Security Coordinator Abdi Fider says Kenya, like other IGAD member states, faces increasing threats from extreme weather that have adverse effects on vulnerable communities.
Climate-related hazards are becoming frequent and intense. Despite Kenya making progress in implementing risk reduction measures, Intergovernmental Authority on Development says more should be done in providing early warning to communities.
The western parts of the region, including southeastern South Sudan, northern Uganda, western and northwestern Kenya, northern Tanzania, southern Burundi, and parts of western Rwanda are likely to experience above normal rainfall, potentially supporting agricultural productivity, pasture generation, and water resources availability.
IGAD is calling for a comprehensive approach that includes training, awareness campaigns, and the integration of traditional knowledge with modern technologies.
Various government agencies and non-governmental agencies need to work together to make sure that they maximize the positives that comes with this particular season and also mitigate the negatives that are associated with the season.
Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
Across the borders, Qatar Airways has acquired a 25% stake in the privately owned South African carrier Airlink. Airlink flies to more than 45 destinations in Southern and East Africa. The deal will enhance an existing code share agreement between the airlines. Frederick Mwoki has the details.
Qatar Airways now owns 25% stake in the privately owned South African carrier Airlink. Abidjan, Abuja, Accra, Harare, Luanda and Lusaka are among the African cities newly added to the extensive Qatar Airways network. No financial details of the deal were immediately disclosed. Meanwhile, China opened an anti-subsidy probe into imported dairy products from the European Union, stepping up tension with the bloc a day after Brussels released its revised draft decision to impose tariffs on China-made electric vehicles. The EU revised its proposed punitive duties on imports of Chinese EVs to 36.3% from an initial planned duty of 37.6%, but fell short of abandoning them as Beijing had called on Brussels to do. Elsewhere, European shares edged up on Wednesday, buoyed by gains in miners, while investors awaited the minutes of the U.S. Federal Reserve's July meeting to gauge the direction of global monetary policy. The Pan-European Stocks 600 Index opens new tab, ticked up 0.2%, 813.11 points. The benchmark snapped a 5-day winning streak on Tuesday. Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
In sports, Kenya's Kenneth Mburu Mungara bagged gold in the men's 8-kilometer cross-country in the World Masters Athletics Championships held at the City Park in Gothenburg, Sweden. Kenya has now amassed 21 medals, 7 gold, 9 silver and 5 bronze medals.
Hapo chini yake kulikuwaga na maji, ilikuwaga wet, so ilikuwaga mzito, ilikuwa na milima na mabonde, hapo ni ndani ya msitu. Enyewe kosi ilikuwa gumu sana, isipokuwa ni mazoezi ile nilikuwa nimepiga huko nyumbani, sige.
Manchester United's under-21 side produced a brilliant late comeback to beat Bursary 3-2 on a night when 3 Premier League youth teams lost in the first round of EFL Trophy Group games. Manchester United's under-21 team scored 3 times during the final 9 minutes to win at Barnsley, where Ethan Ennis launched their comeback before midfielder Jack Fletcher, the son of former United regular Darren, netted twice in 4 minutes. Oliver Wilkinson made history at Ockwell, becoming the League One club's youngest ever starter at the age of 15 years, 6 months and 27 days old. In other matches, Manchester City under-21s drew 1-1 at Chesterfield. Tottenham under-21s relinquished the lead twice in a 3-3 draw at Liga. One side Bristol Rovers in the southern section, while Burton Albion came from behind to win 3-1 against Leicester City under-21s.